Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
A staple of Christmas for the city of Odessa and its residents. So once again, we want to be able to invite everyone. We'll have some hot chocolate out there for you, and come out and let's celebrate and let's bring in the biggest celebration between El Paso and Fort Worth.
Coming up on CBS 7 News at 9, it's officially time to get ready for the Christmas season with tree lightings in both Odessa and Midland. We've got more on the holiday prep work and festivities in just a few minutes. Good evening and thanks for joining us here for CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. And of course, thanks to those of you joining us live on our CBS 7 YouTube page. I'm Jay Hendricks. Starting our news tonight, the Midland Animal Services Advisory Board is ahead of schedule as it revamps the division's future plans and internal procedures. It's been 3 months since Fire Chief Charles Blumenauer started supervising animal services, and today's board meeting was an update on the promise he made last month to raise the standards there. Just last week, rescues were given a few hours' notice to pick up animals that would be added to the urgent list. Rescues present at the meeting, say that they see change happening, but more time is needed. The city is working with humane educators of Texas to revamp its policies and protocols, as well as practice better within the team.
Policies and procedures are the most important thing that you can have in place because they give you a guide on how you interact with, on our side, with citizens in the back of an ambulance. This is going to do that same thing for us and how we interact, not only with our animals in our shelter, that we're treating them the way they need to be treated.
Other discussion topics included understaffing, their continued search for a full-time vet, and the future possibility of nighttime shifts at Animal Services. The Commission will have more information on a strategic plan and procedures in their January meeting. For the full report on that meeting, head over to our website, cbs7.com. Runny noses, coughing, and sneezing, normal symptoms for many illnesses in humans this time of year. But for dogs, it isn't normal. In fact, an unknown respiratory illness is hitting dogs around the country. The unknown disease causes dogs to have shortness of breath, deep coughs, runny nose, and sneezing. This disease can turn into pneumonia, which can lead to scarring on the dog's lungs and can lead to a lasting cough. The Odessa Animal Shelter recently had 2 dogs who came down with respiratory issues. They were able to treat the dogs with steroids and antibiotics to get better.
Please vaccinate and keep your animals from running through the city. Contain them. Do not let them out in front yards that are not fenced. Leave them in your backyard. It is winter time. Your animals have to be, they have to have shelter, appropriate shelter. From the inclement weather. So be very cautious of that.
No other dogs inside the shelter got sick, but just because those dogs didn't doesn't mean your dog can't get sick if exposed to the disease. So it is best to take all the precautions necessary for your pet and have a vet make sure that your dog is healthy this winter. It is time now to talk your weather forecast. If you were outside today, still a little chill in the air, but the sun did come out today. Let's get an update on your forecast right now as meteorologist Justin Lopez joins us now to get us up to date. Justin?
Hey there, Jay, and hey there, West Texas. We did see a couple of glimpses of the sun today, but for the most part, we were dealing with a lot of cloud coverage throughout the day. And we even had a couple of spots where there was a little bit of showers in a couple of spots, but those showers have actually begun to move off, and really the clouds are starting to move off too. As you can see, there's starting to be some clearing skies out there in Pecos already, and those clearing skies are going to be reaching Odessa and Midland here shortly. As you can see right now, we are already looking at some clear skies here in Odessa. Temperatures currently sitting at 48 here and 47 in Midland. Big Spring is looking at 46. Meanwhile, it's a little colder out there near Marfa, 35 degrees right now. But there are southerly winds, southeasterly winds, going to be bringing us a little bit of warmer weather tomorrow. 6 miles per hour here in Midland, Odessa. And like I said, for the next 3 days, we're going to start seeing a little bit of a warm up.
We are tracking crime now. This man, 30-year-old Xavier Diaz, was arrested for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and leaving the scene of an accident. That's according to the city of Odessa. They say he crashed a stolen car into a car dealership parking lot. Now take a look at the aftermath of that crash over the weekend. Diaz, according to police, stole a white Ford F-350 from the CBS parking lot on Tanglewood, then drove through red lights and on the wrong side of the road before finally hitting 6 cars at the Sky Mazda dealership on 52nd Street. Diaz ran away from the scene but was found and arrested. No injuries were reported. For those of you that love to go shopping, this is the week to do so. And whether you do that in person or if you're doing it online, people are buying items for friends and family. However, it's also the time of giving. It's also a time for taking, as porch pirates could soon be out and about. Whether you live alone or not, there are many ways to prevent a porch pirate from succeeding. One thing you can do if you're not home and expecting a package is to tell a neighbor that you'll be receiving a delivery so they can hold it for you. Something else you can do is have it delivered to a store that holds packages. Local law enforcement say they are prepared and may even be watching without people knowing.
We are going to beef up a lot of our patrol. There'll be more officers patrolling through the neighborhoods. We'll even have officers that'll be in unmarked units. They look like plain cars. And that way you never even know if it's a cop or not. So if it's a bad guy that's watching, good luck.
Some locations that could accept packages are places like FedEx or UPS stores. However, you would need to call ahead before assuming you can do that. If you want to be certain, requiring a signature on a package will guarantee that it will not be dropped off unless someone signs for it. If these options aren't possible, there are other ways that you could help yourself and help law enforcement.
My number one tip would be using a security camera, installing a home security system with cameras, or even just one of those camera-enabled doorbells. That's a great way to deter package theft.
The Odessa Police Department also recommends to do all of these things, plus attend neighborhood watch meetings to keep people in the community aware. The monthly Neighborhood Watch meeting in Odessa is happening tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the Odessa Police Department classroom. Officers are sharing holiday awareness as well as safety tips. Speaking of things happening tomorrow, the city of Midland is lighting the Christmas tree tomorrow. And of course, we're going to be there and you're invited to join us either there in person or on TV. The process of setting up the tree and preparing for the lighting ceremony takes about a week from start to finish. It's a 50-foot tree. That's the main attraction for the family tree event in the heart of Midland. Mayor Lori Blong tells CBS7 the tree lighting is one of her favorite events in Midland.
We are really excited to have the Christmas tree lighting tomorrow evening, and this really represents a lot of work by city staff to get it ready for this point. And so we're excited to celebrate together as a community and looking forward to being there.
And by the way, we'll be there as well. The tree lights in Centennial Park each year, but this year there's more. A mistletoe market is also being added to the schedule this year. It's a market with 25 to 30 vendors, food trucks, and the opportunity to take pictures with Santa. Once again, we'll be broadcasting the City of Midland tree lighting. That's live tomorrow. We invite you to join us right here on CBS7, or you can watch us certainly on our Facebook page at 6 o'clock for that celebration. And don't forget, tree lightings aren't the only holiday event in town. The Odessa Parade of Lights is happening on Saturday. If you can't make it out, we'll be showing the full parade on KWWT My 30 from 6:30 until 8 p.m. Again, that's coming up on Saturday. Tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, and the American Red Cross is asking you to think about giving blood. The Red Cross says it needs thousands more donations per week to stave off what it calls an often invisible emergency. The Red Cross declared a national blood shortage back in September, citing a busy travel season and back-to-back climate disasters, and holidays can become difficult.
Schools are closed, families are on vacation, people are attending functions, festive parties, and not really thinking about going out to their local blood drive. But there are still patients in the hospital that need blood to survive.
The Red Cross says the entire process for donating blood takes about 45 minutes to an hour from start to finish. Midland ISD's Carver Center has once again been named the #1 charter elementary school in Texas. Midland ISD says it was given that honor from U.S. News and World Report. The district says Carver improved its rating among all elementary schools from #8 in the state last year to #4 now. The ranking is based on reading and math proficiency and performance data. Midland ISD also says that 89% of Carver students scored at or above proficient levels for math, and 93% scored at or above that level in reading. District officials also say that both of those figures are the best numbers among all charter elementary schools in Texas. Don't know if you saw this, but Governor Greg Abbott went skydiving for the first time today. He got to jump out of a plane with a 106-year-old World War II veteran named Al Blotchke in San Marcos. They jumped from an altitude of 8,500 feet. The veteran set the Guinness World Record for the world's oldest tandem parachute jump. The duo was joined by Texas National Guard soldiers and skydiving professionals. A White House official confirms that Israel and Hamas have agreed to extend a ceasefire for another 2 days. That announcement came on the final day of the initial 4-day truce, in which Hamas says they released a number of hostages each day. Israel's military says the Red Cross confirmed 11 hostages were released today alone. The two sides paused fighting, and some even allowed humanitarian aid to enter Gaza. Nicole Skenga has the latest from the White House.
8-year-old Ella El-Kayam and her 15-year-old sister Daphna embraced their mother Sunday for the first time since Hamas took them captive 51 days ago and killed their father. But Israel says another recently released hostage, 84-year-old Elma Evraham, is in critical condition after being deprived of her medicine for 7 weeks.
Right now, she's struggling for her life.
Hamas also released 4-year-old American-Israeli girl Abigail Moradon, whose parents were also killed in the October 7th attacks.
I don't know if she knows that she had no more father and mother.
The White House says it welcomes the 2-day extension of the humanitarian pause in Gaza, in which Hamas has agreed to release another 20 women and children.
We would, of course, hope to see the pause extended further, and that will depend upon Hamas continuing to release hostages.
In the West Bank, Palestinians cheered as Palestinian prisoners returned home. As part of the ceasefire deal, Israel has released more than 100 Palestinian women and teenagers detained in Israeli jails before the war started. The truce has enabled the United Nations to deliver more desperately needed food, water, and medicine to Gaza, although officials say it is still not even close to the amount of humanitarian aid needed in the war-torn territory. Nicole Skenga, CBS News, the White House.
The White House says about 8 to 9 U.S. hostages are believed to be among those still being held in Gaza. Now for a look at today's top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers at CBS7.com. You can see all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. Still ahead today was the first of 3 days of memorials for former First Lady Rosalind Carter. We take a look at the processions up next. The public began honoring the life of former First Lady Rosalind Carter today with several events that were held in her memory. CBS's Skylar Henry is in Atlanta with more on the somber processions that were held.
Mourners gathered at the Jimmy Carter Library and Museum in Atlanta for a ceremony honoring the legacy of former First Lady Rosalind Carter.
Mrs. Carter was selfless, caring, and kind.
The remembrance came on the first of 3 days of tributes and farewells for the former First Lady, who died last week at the age of 96.
When asked what she wanted to be remembered for, she said, "I would like to think that people understood that I took advantage of the opportunities that I was given, and I did the best that I could." And I have to say, Mrs. Carter did more than that.
Earlier, past and present members of the Carter Secret Service detail carried her flower-draped casket as it left the medical center near Plains, Georgia. Family members followed to the Georgia Southwestern State University Health and Human Sciences complex named for Mrs. Carter, and crowds gathered to watch the motorcade go by. Mourners and visitors have been flocking here to the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum here in Atlanta. The former First Lady's body will lie in repose through this evening.
She always remembered to talk about my son.
Meredith Evans is the director here and got to know Mrs. Carter personally.
For me, this is a day of really considering and thinking about all that she's done and what she personally may mean to you or to me.
A memorial service is set for Tuesday. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Atlanta.
And back over here in West Texas, it was another cold day and cloudy day as well. But we are expecting to see a little bit of a warm up. We'll talk about that more in detail coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's meteorologist Justin Lopez.
Good evening, West Texas. Today was a pretty cold and pretty cloudy day, but we are going to start seeing temperatures warm up a little bit as we're starting to see those clouds start to move out. And we're going to see temperatures cool off for tonight, however. But by tomorrow, we are expecting more southerly flow in our winds, and so our temperatures will start to increase. But for right now, you can see that those showers we had earlier are starting to make their way out of our viewing area. And we're starting to see clearing skies come into our spot, into our area now. Looking at our temperatures across our viewing area, 52 degrees was our high in Odessa, 50 in Midland, 53 out in Andrews and in Big Spring. So 50 is pretty much all across the board. And then a little bit of warmer out there near El Paso at a high of 60 degrees. But those clouds are starting to go away, so that means the radiation is starting to go back out into space. So our temperatures are cooling down here in Midland, Odessa for the night, 46 degrees. Meanwhile, San Antonio, Austin, Houston, they still have clouds, acting like a little bit of a blanket over there, so the temperatures are able to stay up a little bit warmer in the 50s. Looking at our temperatures a little closer to home, 48 here in Odessa, 47 in Midland, and 37 degrees out there in Fort Davis. It's a little colder out there, 49 in Wink, and then 42 around the Andrews. And then our winds, like I said, southeasterly flow in our winds. We have a high pressure system right behind me back over here near Dallas. But looking at that flow is going to be pushing our winds towards southeast, warming us up a little bit over the day tomorrow. So as we can see, those clouds are going to continue to roll out tonight, leaving us with some sunnier skies tomorrow in the morning, and then late morning and into the afternoon, we're going to see clouds return to our area. For the most part, we're looking at mostly sunny skies, partly cloudy as well for some spots. But overall, no showers, no thunderstorms are expected for the area. We do have an area of high pressure building out to our west. That's going to be allowing us to warm up as well. And looking at our temperatures for us this evening, we're going to be dropping down into the 30s by 3 in the morning. Winds will still be out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And looking at our highs tomorrow, 55 degrees for Midland, Odessa, 57 in Monahans, 57 out there in Pecos as well, 65 in Presidio. A little cooler up north toward Hobbs to 54 degrees is the high there. But we are going to expect a little bit of a warming trend. By Thursday, we should be in the 60s. And we're going to see a little bit of a cool down for the weekend before we rebound back up to 60s by next week.
There are still a few hours to snag a good deal online if you're starting the Christmas present search. We have the details on what Cyber Monday really is up next. Today is Cyber Monday, which means big online deals for holiday shopping, and you've still got a few hours left to spend some money. According to the National Retail Federation, more than 71 million Americans are expected to shop online today. Many of them, I think, doing it while they're at work, making it the second most popular day of the year to shop behind Black Friday. And e-commerce already had a strong Black Friday, with sales up 7.5% compared to last year. Shopify president Harley Finkelstein says this year shoppers are embracing what he calls a, quote, gift yourself mentality, end quote, taking advantage of today's deals to buy what they want first.
many of them are using these deals to check off their personal wish list items and stock up even on everyday items. So for example, big ticket items like cookware from Hexclad is doing well, pizza ovens from Uni is doing well, blenders from Blender Tech is doing well, and also home security company Ring, which are all Shopify stores, are also doing quite well.
Finkelstein says brands who build a connection with shoppers are doing the best and that Gen Z is spending more than any other demographic. Still ahead, stockings may hang by the fireplace, but you could hang a colander of some pretty cute puppies on the wall next to it. Up next, how TSA is showcasing their working dogs in 2024. All right, so as you're maybe getting out trying to find that perfect gift, maybe for someone in your family, perhaps a dog lover, take a look at this. You got this. TSA releasing something that we can all look forward to heading into the new year. There you see it. The agency is showing off its 2024 canine calendar, which highlights hardworking canines from across the nation. And there's all types. So you may find someone that likes these types of dogs, and perhaps this is something that you can get. It is available on the TSA website. Get this. There are more than 1,000 explosive detection dogs who are featured in this. You can see them there with balls, but of course that keeps them occupied, and I'm sure they play games with them so that they learn, to keep sharp when it comes to looking for these things. The cover girl is Dina. She is the winner of the 2023 Cutest Canine Contest. The 3-year-old German short-haired pointer works at Harry Reid International Airport. That's in Las Vegas. The calendar, by the way, isn't just full of cute pups. You can also learn some facts about Fido, like, did you know a dog's nose is powerful enough to detect substances at concentrations of 1 part per trillion? Think about that. That is about the same as a single drop of liquid in 20 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
Wow, I would have never
Interesting
thought
fact,
that.
right?
Wow,
All right,
yeah.
calendar already available to download on the agency's website. So again, if you're looking for something, maybe you get that.
Yeah, maybe. And as far as our temperatures go, we're going to be seeing a little bit of warm up, so that's also pretty cool too.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 10.